Today is Tuesday of the second week of Lent. As we continue our Lenten journey today, we hear a call to righteousness, to getting things right with God, from the beginning of the book of Isaiah and the latter part of Matthew's Gospel. We are given specifics on how to live in both readings, or as Isaiah has the Lord saying, "Come now, let us set things right." Let's begin with Isaiah and the first part of this prophetic book, the part thought to actually have been composed by the prophet in the 8th century BC, as opposed to later chapters attributed to others after his death. This first part warns of approaching disaster because of the people's sins, although not without hope that the Lord will forgive their sins. Speaking with God's authority, hear the word of the Lord. Isaiah castigates the Israelites. Ah, sinful nation, people laden with wickedness, evil offspring, corrupt children. And shortly thereafter he says, "Your hands are full of blood." He calls the Israelites rebellious sons, and as a result he says, "The land is desolate and the city of Jerusalem besieged." And what specifically have the Israelites done to merit such castigation from the Lord? They've been engaging in cultic worship and sacrificial practices. Surely with this introduction, the prophet has gained the attention of his hearers and our own. And what are the people to do to regain their special relationship with God? Our passage for today makes requirements specific. Cease doing evil. Learn to do good. Make justice your aim. Redress the wronged. As we consider these admonitions, they could be addressed almost directly to us in our 21st century context. We well know the need for social justice in our time and the need that we be involved in seeing that happen personally. And the wronged. It's not hard to identify these. The homeless, the unfairly prisoned, refugees, victims of war, drought, famine, racism, our misused and neglected earth. Our list is way too long. Lest we consider Isaiah's charges to lie way back in the 8th century BCE, we encounter Jesus in today's gospel, specifying the right way of living through his critique of the scribes and the Pharisees' conduct. Let's remember that at this point in Matthew's gospel, Jesus is speaking in Jerusalem, only a short time before his passion and death. We might consider this one of the last summaries of godly living Jesus will give his listeners before his death and resurrection. We're told by him how to live. Practice what we preach. Don't burden others with impossible requirements. Don't seek honor. Jesus, as always, turns things upside down, countercultural, we might say, reminding us of the one and only one to whom we owe our love and lives, our Father in heaven. And what do Isaiah and Jesus call to mind at this point in our Lenten season and in our own lives? What's the invitation here? Mindful that in Lent we're called to engage in acts of prayer, as well as fasting and almsgiving. It seems to me that one kind of prayer we might engage in, if we are not already, is the Ignatian practice of the examen, the prayer that helps us not to examine our consciences as we do prior to receiving the sacrament of reconciliation. Rather, the examen assists us to see how God has been present in our day, both when we have recognized God's presence and when we might have missed that. Within the prayer, we're invited to give thanks for everything we have, including ourselves, as gift from God. We review all parts of our day, expressing gratitude for the times that are life-giving and asking forgiveness for the times we have chosen not to respond to God's invitation to love. And finally, we ask for what we need as we look forward to the day or the time ahead. To me, this daily practice, albeit short, is a way to respond to today's gospel, Jesus' invitation to humble ourselves that we may be exalted. Or, according to our first reading from Isaiah, a way to set things right, to wash ourselves clean. And here's the hope and the promise: God's unconditional love for each of us. Again, from today's passage from Isaiah. Though our sins be scarlet, they may become white as snow. Though they be crimson red, they may become white as wool. If you are interested in exploring more about praying the Examen, I've included in the written copy of this reflection some resources that might be useful to you.